Okay, let's go ahead and go over decimals here. First of all, you have to be able to read decimals. And I know we can read this as 0.2, that's true. But really this first unit here to the right of the decimal point is the tenths place. So right here, we think of this unit right here as being in the tenths. Let me spell that out for you. Tenths. Tenths, T-E-N-T-H-S, tenths place. So, and it's the same as 0.2. Now most people feel that you should put the 0 there. It is the same. 0.2 and 0.2 are the same, but sometimes people have a hard time seeing that little decimal point right there. So a lot of people, for example, nursing students are required to put in the 0 right here when they're in a nursing class, so that it stands out that they see that decimal point right there. So both are the same, 0.2 or 0.2, but it's nice to put the 0 on the left-hand side. Now you don't have to go any extra digits to the right, but they are the same. Like for example, 0.2 and 0.20 are exactly the same, because 0.20, well, this is the tenths place, and the next one is the hundredths position. So right here, where the 0 is on this number, is in the hundredths position. And what I mean by hundredths is this word right here, hundredths, T-H-S. Sorry for the messy spelling here, but that's the best I can do on this computer. But hundredths. So this would really be the number 20 hundredths. Now let's write some of these out. This number right here is really the same as 2 tenths. So let me write that down here, 2 tenths. And this number over here is 20 hundredths. Well, let me write that down, 20 hundredths. Well, 10 goes into 20 2 times, and 10 goes into 100 10 times, so these are equivalent fractions right here. 2 tenths and 21 hundredths are exactly the same thing. And in fact, you could break this down farther and say 2 tenths is the same as 1/5, because the 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. Okay. Now, just a little more practice with this stuff. Let's say we had a number something like this, 0. Let's just say 123. Well, that would be the same as, okay, let's go across tenths, hundredths, next is thousandths. So this would really be the same as the fraction 123 thousandths. So that's what fraction that is equal to. Now, the question is, does this reduce? Well, the only numbers that go into 1,000 are 2 and 5, and 2 doesn't go into 123 because it is not an even number, and 5 doesn't go into 123 because it doesn't end with a 5 or a 0, so this does not reduce any further. Let's do another number. Let's say we had this number, 0.1205. In fact, let's put a number on the left-hand side of this decimal point. And right now it's assumed to be 0, but let's put I don't know, a 3 or whatever here. So what fraction would that be equal to? Well, if you can write it as a fraction, you can read it. Okay, this is the tenths position, this is the hundredths position, this is the thousandths, and this is the 10,000ths position. So this part here to the right of the decimal would be the same as 1,205 10,000ths. And then the 3 is just in the whole number, or in the ones unit. So I would say this fraction is the same as this decimal right here. 3 and 1,205 10,000ths is the same as the fraction 3 and 1,205 10,000ths. Now this will reduce, and what we get if we reduce this is, and I know this reduces because 5 will go into 10,000 and 5 will also go into 1,205. Well, if you take 5 into 1,205, well, 5 goes into 12 2 times with 2 left over, and then 4, and I think a 1. Let's double check that. Let's take the 5, and just off the side here, let's take 5 into 1,205. And the 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. And when you subtract, I get 2 left over. I'll just put a little 2 here. So 5 goes into 24 times. And 4 times 5 is 20. When I subtract, nothing left over, and 5 goes into 5 one time. So it is 241 over, and if I take 5 into 10,000, you'll get 2,000. And it doesn't reduce any further than that, because the only numbers that go into 2,000 are 2 and 5. And is there any number that goes into 241? Well, I'm not sure, but definitely 2 nor 5 goes into 241. 3 doesn't go into 241 because if you add up the digits, 2 plus 4 plus 1, you get 7. And 3 doesn't go into 7, so 3 won't go into 241. So I'm really done with this problem. But that makes me think here at this point, is 241 a prime number? Well, let's check it real quick. We know 2 doesn't go into it, 3 doesn't go, and 5 doesn't go into that. Does 7 go into 241? Let's see. This is just a side note here, checking to see if 241 is prime or not. So let's see. 7 goes into 24 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21, and when I subtract, I get 3. And 3 does not go into 31 evenly. So 7 does not go into it. The next prime number after that is 11, and 11 goes into 24 2 times with 2 left over, so that would not give me 241. So 11 doesn't go into 241 either. I'll try one more, and if 13 doesn't do it, I'm going to feel pretty confident that this thing is prime, but let's try it. 241. Well, 13 goes into 24 one time with 11 left over. And if I put 11 here, well, 13 goes into 111. How many times? Well, maybe about 7 times. And let's see what I get. If I take 7 times 13, I get, well, that's 21, carrier 2, that'd be 9, 91. Well, it might go in another time, maybe 8 times it goes in there. So let me make that an 8. And if I add 11 to the 91, I would get 102. And it won't go any more than that because another 11 would give me, or sorry, I should be adding 13 to this because I'm checking 13 here. So 91 plus 13 is 104. Well, that's not going to do it. So my guess is that 241 is prime. But anyway, the answer to that problem is 3 and 241 2,000ths.